Hey guys, this is Anastasia Autumnfire, and I hope everyone is having a great Monday. It's been a little under a week that I've posted a video, but I wanted to get one up tonight about enlightenment and awakening, and what happens when that connection is born of kind of the darker side of things. What does it mean when it is born from kind of pain and perhaps regret and what just where does that leave us? For me, I've always rather been a bit naive when it comes to the concepts of awakening and enlightenment. There's such positive things, I think. And so it's like if someone says, oh, this is just your way of awakening, or this is just something that, you know, is bringing you a bit more fulfillment, or, oh, this is a sign that you're going to be inspired or have some enlightenment come to you within the next blah 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 days. That's a bit specific, but you get my drift, I imagine. When I hear that kind of thing, I get super excited and I get all jazzed that, oh my gosh, I'm on the right path and I'm doing the right things and I'm at the right place and everything's good. And then, and sometimes it is, don't get me wrong, sometimes it is a positive thing from a positive action and all is well with the world. But if I'm looking at the big picture, a lot of my profound moments of awakening are actually born of brokenness. They come from a place of being completely shattered and having to rebuild. It's almost as though the analogy I've kind of always had has been, it's almost as though I'm a jigsaw puzzle when I was born. And all the pieces fit perfectly and this, that, and the other thing. But throughout my time growing up and this and that, pieces would fall out of place and I'd have to kind of put them back together. But me not being able to see the bigger picture of me, maybe I didn't get the pieces in the right places. And so instead of them matching up and fitting perfectly, I would have to use some crazy glue or tape to try to get them to stick in the configuration that I am putting them in. And while it works, the pieces stick, there's a cohesive picture of some sort that is there. It isn't right. It isn't cohesive. It isn't clear. Then some event will happen and it will shatter me. It will break. All the pieces go tumbling down and I quickly try to put them back in their respective places as quickly as possible. And again, whip out the duct tape and the crazy glue and hope for the best. But oddly enough, this time I'll find some of the pieces get put back where they were when I first was born. They'll get put in the correct order, in the correct shape, in the correct place. And that part of my picture comes a little bit clearer. And I'm able to see better. I'm able to know. I'm able to connect. That's when I find moments of complete and utter connection. And when that happens, it is insane. It is emotional. It is ridiculous. It is completely and utterly raw, and I don't necessarily know how to take it all the time. And the realization that I really have come to in these last few days or so is that it really echoes the rune Hagalaz. Hagalaz is the Nordic rune for hail, which, as we know, is a destructive force of nature. Well, not force of nature, tool of nature, I guess. It causes damage. It breaks things. It destroys. But the shining light at the end of the tunnel in all of that is that whatever it breaks down can be, and oftentimes is, rebuilt or regrows. It is reborn in some way, shape, or form. And oftentimes it is stronger than before, it is better than before, it is brighter than before. And that really speaks to the kinds of awakening that I'm speaking to on this. Another way of looking at it is shadow working. To look within and see what parts of you are shadow, and how do you embrace those, and how do you work through that. A form of enlightenment and awakening can certainly come through that working as well. For me, as of late, I'm starting to realize more and more that my practice, although I am in the right place, I'm not necessarily doing the right things. I believe there are probably a decent amount of practices and workings and things that I do that perhaps at one point resonated with me. At one point spoke to me and worked. And at one point or another it stopped. But I didn't let it go. I really struggle with letting shit go. And I have excuses. But the reality is excuses don't do a whole hell of a lot for you, do they? I look at certain things that I do because I've been told this is how this is done, this is how that is done. And I feel great shame. Because the reality is I go on YouTube, I go on Facebook, even just speaking to people, my friends that I talk to every day. It's easy to spout off, you have to do what speaks to you, you have to do what resonates for you. You do you, don't do someone else. Don't do something because someone else tells you this is how it's done. Figure out what works for you. Ask questions. Delve deep. But then to look back in my own path, in my own backyard, so to speak, and see that there is a lot that I do that I took up because someone told me this was the right way of doing it, and I just assumed, well, they're smarter than I am. They're wiser than I am. They've been on their path longer than I have. So they must know more than me. To realize that I've done that very thing over and over again really is rather ridiculous in my mind. It comes down to I should know better. But in the same breath, I also feel as though I'm doing a dishonor to myself. And it's an odd feeling because so much of my path is that I believe there is divine within all of us. I believe we are amazing and divine creatures in and of ourselves, as well as around us. I can't quite word it properly. But if I believe myself to have some form of divine spark within, how can I dishonor that spark by not trusting it, by not giving myself the credit that I am due? And that sounds incredibly egotistical and narcissistic, and I don't mean it to. I just mean there's an element of self-love and self-trust and self-confidence that should be free of ego, that should be free of arrogance and narcissism and all that bad juju. And I fear, because I don't want to be that extreme, that I cut myself short and then end up second guessing so much of what I do and so much of what I am, and trusting other people's opinions about what I should be doing and how I should be doing it. And then I end up in situations like this, where I look at my path and realize I kind of need to cut through all of it and upheave it and find what is at its root again. And this time more so than just ancestors. And in doing so, you unearth a lot of shadow and a lot of pain. And I think that's what brings about that profound awakening. Because when you have moments like this, when you start to spiral and you go down that dark staircase and you start to work with the shadow within and without and all that jazz, you start to realize that as you're working through all this muck, all this slime, that you are getting rid of that which no longer serves. Not just pretty words, you're actually doing the work. And it sucks, and it's hard, and it hurts. But you have that knowledge that it will end. It will pass. And at the end of that will be that moment of rebirth. And oh my Lanta, can you imagine how much stronger your path will be? How much more certain your own knowledge and wisdom will be? What insights could you possibly uncover if you delved deep and got your hands dirty? If you saw yourself and looked at that reflection and accepted it and said, yeah, I done fucked up here, here, and here. But you know what? I'm learning from it and I'm moving on. And then actually do it. Because it's super easy to sit there and say, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing. But to actually take up that banner and roll with it. Not just say the words, but do the work. Those are the moments that I look at and go, God, that sucked. Goddess, how did you get me through that? Hades, I don't want to go back to that moment. But I wouldn't change it for a moment. I wouldn't take any of the tears. I wouldn't take any of the scars. I wouldn't take any of that darkness away. Because at the end of that, I emerged so much stronger and so much more prepared. My picture, my puzzle was that much more completed and fixed from all the shit that society has told me, from all of the shit I have told me. That rebuilding, that remanaging, that rehashing through all of the crap, the digging through the ashes of the phoenix just so that it can reemerge, only to realize that you yourself are that phoenix. That is what awakening through Hagalaz means to me. Here I have my Viking Oracle Dex card for Hagalaz. Probably can't see it too well because I'm kind of in the dark doing some meditating. But I wanted to read to you the little poem that they have in the booklet here for this card. The sting of hardship, the venom, the famine, of what you expect or don't want. The hope destroyer, the wrecker of crops, the plague. But this too shall pass. The meaning of this card is you are coming to a period of restriction. Be wary not to extend your energies too much. Current difficulties may require major change, but this too will pass. Hardships can be endured. Resilience is necessary. You can learn from the current situation. You are being distracted by drama. It's easy to get caught in the muck. It's easy to get brought down by the weight of it all. But when you are working through this awakening process with Hagalaz, I truly believe that once the smoke passes, once the shadow retreats, the end result is so worth it. So if you find yourself in a period of awakening or enlightenment, but you're realizing more and more, fuck, I'm going to have to go through some hard shit to get through it. Is it easy to take up that mantle? Absolutely not. You will want to run for the hills and do anything except focus on all of that shit. But when you take up that sword and you begin to cut away at the brambles and the vines that have twisted up around you and caused this blockage or caused this obstacle, when you start unweaving this tapestry of just meh and yuck, these images are so profound. A tapestry of ick and yuck. Oy. My point is, once you start doing the work, once you start getting in there, yeah, it's going to suck even more. It's going to be really hard. You're going to want to quit. Even more than just looking at the problem from a distance. Once you get in there, it gets 10 times harder. You begin to realize that relationships are going to change. Your life is going to change. It's where that doing what's easy isn't the right course at that point. You need to do what's hard, because doing what's hard is what's going to help you in the long run. Doing what's easy is just going to put you either in stagnation or in this helpless cycle that keeps bringing you back to the same block. And at that point, you're not growing, you're not evolving, you're not learning. You're just stuck. 。 So yeah, I guess what the point of this video is for me is just sharing that, if you have experienced or are experiencing awakening through brokenness, you're not alone. I mean, you can go on YouTube and you'll see that you're not alone. How many shadow working videos are there? You have amazing resources like Charlie Says Go, Kellyanne Maddox, Joey Morris has some great ones, Christina. I know I'm forgetting millions, probably. Okay, that's a bit dramatic, but you know what I mean. There's a ton of people out there that have shared their experiences and continue to share their experiences of just utter and complete shattered moments. And what is it we all take away from that? We take away a sense of community. We take away the realization that we're not alone in this shit. And we can look at them and say, holy fuck, you went through this and look at how you've emerged. And you know what, guys? When we go through that shit too, we emerge even stronger as well. It's about doing the work. It's about taking the time. It's about experiencing, yes, the pain, because you know what? Life experiences aren't all warm and fuzzy. We've got to go through Hagalaz. We've got to endure the hail. But after that destruction, we can rebuild. And we can make ourselves that much more brilliant, that much more strong, that much more grateful and wise. If it's a moment born of regret, we can learn our lesson and help others through their shit when they make the same mistake we made. The point is, we're not alone. And the point is, when we have these moments of brokenness, it will lead to a higher sense of self. We just got to stay at it and keep to the path. We just have to trust ourselves. And sometimes that's super hard. But when all is said and done, sometimes that's all we got. So yeah, I think I'll end it there. I hope this wasn't just 25 minutes or whatever of me rambling while you looked at a bunch of candles. If it was, I apologize. Admittingly, I'm working through some shit on my side as well, so it turned into more of a ramble session than I imagined. But yeah, I think the awakening process and enlightenment process can just be a bitch to get through sometimes. But that's why it is a process. And we can look at it as, oh my gosh, we just need to get to the end. We just need to get to the end. But oftentimes, once we get to that end, we look back and realize it was all that shit we went through that really makes the end that much more insightful. It's hard to say thank you for the hail. It's hard to say thank you for the brokenness and destruction. But I know there's been plenty of times in my life when, man, oh man, I am so grateful I shattered and had to take the time to rebuild my jigsaw puzzle. And I'm pretty sure I'm approaching that time again. Blessed be. Bye, guys.